So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been some time now since the fallout of the Donald Trump and Ramaphosa meeting. And you know what? The entire thing has shown exactly what is wrong with South Africa's political and media-based elite. It's just exemplified everything that Donald Trump said. Donald Trump kept saying there were issues in South Africa and there were issues in the United States, and the media doesn't want to focus on it. In fact, he kept saying there's lots of fake news, fake news, fake news, and the fake news is by the news outlets. The grand irony is the very people who want to silence you and me and tell us what we must believe are the very perpetrators of lies. But before we get on to the main video of today, can I yet again remind you, if you haven't already, guys, hit the bell icon, subscribe to the channel. These videos suck to make. Like, it's hard to immerse yourself in news every single day. It's depressing. Subscribe. Help the brother out. So let's get on to the first part of the news, and that is that apparently Cyril Ramaphosa, after his meeting with Donald Trump and the rest of the delegates, had to go on Reuters and give a quick update as to what the current state of play was following the meeting. And he said things were very good. He said that actually the meeting wasn't as hard as he thought it was going to be. A lot of the meeting was secured around trade. He said the Israel issue didn't get raised. A lot of it was around trade and AGOA. And according to Trump, AGOA hasn't yet been canned. It's before Congress. They want to continue it. And so they want to have tariffs dropped from South Africa. They'll drop tariffs. And a lot of it was around trade, to be frank. Now let's get on to the real meaty stuff, which occurred in South Africa. And first of all, it's important to understand that the media apparatus in South Africa immediately kicked off the day trying to fact check Donald Trump, because apparently Donald Trump made a load of false allegations. And to this, I would say the media class are freaking shameless. I saw the news articles in Trump's hands. A lot of them were from the Daily Mail, a British newspaper. They were all newspaper articles. And he didn't say, oh, these are the only people who died. This is what proves genocide. He said, here are some examples of people that have been killed in horrific circumstances. This one here, dead. This one here, dead. This one here, dead. It was fact. He then played Julius Malema on stage singing Kill the Boer over and over and over again. And so obviously there was this idea around genocide of the white farmers. And they even said, do you know categorically, is your mind made up that genocide is occurring? And Trump said, no, his mind isn't made up. He would talk to Cyril and they would discuss it and they would go forward. So why is it that the media then says, well, the first thing that Trump got wrong is he claimed there was genocide. Trump said there was violence in South Africa and it had to change. He said things in South Africa were bad. They needed to change because he was getting inundated with applicants to go to the US and to go to Australia, and it couldn't remain this way. He said it wasn't good that white people didn't want to live in their own country and had to flee to somewhere else, and things needed to change. How is this controversial? But according to Times Live, it is controversial because the media apparatus in South Africa is, to use Donald Trump's words, fake news. The media then attempted to say that the Kill the Boer song sung by South Africans, well, that was an old thing and it's a liberation chant. It's not an incitement to violence. Are you guys retarded? Like, you must be retarded. Because Julius Malema even sang the song on Human Rights Day. And it's very clear what he means by it, because as we've seen, usually when the song is sung, farm violence starts to escalate. And the numbers of murders on farms are higher than they normally are. We know this to be true. Call it what you want, you fake news organization. It is what it is. They then attempted to say that the cross clip that Donald Trump showed, well, that was made in September 2020, where there was the whole Farm Lives Matters protest, which was going on around the whole country. Well, apparently that's old and it's a lie because it's like old and stuff. Again, freaking shameless. The media apparatus in South Africa is just shameless. Because then they wanted to try to say, well, where did all this fake news come from? And if you've been watching Propaganda 24, you will know that they did a doxing of an individual who goes by the Twitter handle of Twatterbus. And apparently this individual who uses the name of Boer, he goes and he shows things online, and sometimes it's followed by Elon Musk and he retweets it. And a lot of them is him actually just showing news articles that happen in South Africa. He'll show Julius singing Kill the Boer, which genuinely happened. And Elon might retweet it and go, this is horrendous. Well, apparently, remember, he's fake news according to this propaganda outfit. And according to this propaganda outfit, well, remember that cross video that we were just drawing reference to? Yeah, it was his fault. He's the one who posted it, and that's where Donald Trump got the video from. It must have gone through Elon. Again, shameless. Our media outfits in South Africa are shameless. They then said that Ernie Els and Retief were parts of the problem because they dragged Cyril into an ambush. And they ambushed Cyril. Cyril invited them. And they were actually very cordial, protecting the president to a large degree. They could have spoken their minds and said, oh, things are a shit show in South Africa. They didn't. They were diplomatic. They didn't have to be. They didn't owe him anything. But there they were. They were being polite. And in response, what did they get? They got the propaganda, the fake news outfit known as Propaganda 24, writing articles about how they didn't denounce white genocide and say that there was nothing that was happening and that South Africa wasn't in a state of, distress because of things that were going on. And this was a missed opportunity by them because they just bought into this narrative and they didn't challenge it. In fact, Cyril Ramaphosa, according to them, was the only one who kept his composure, and he was majestic. And all I could say is, can you remove Cyril's banana out the side of your cheek? This is disgusting propaganda. Apparently also John Steenhuisen said he did a terrible job, they said, because he should have told Trump this is a lie, and I quote, that there are no farm murders in South Africa, which is a lie. It's a lie. There are farm murders. We know there are farm murders. The question you got to ask is, are they racially motivated? Do they amount to genocide? We could have those debates, but by saying that there is nobody murdered on a farm, it's a lie. But that's what the propaganda media tells you that you should believe. It's disgusting and shameful. Lots of people then went on to write other little congratulatory pieces to Ramaphosa saying that he's done a fantastic job. He reset the relationship. And to that, I'd say you guys are retarded. So Ramaphosa is lucky that he took the people that he did and they all spoke for him and made him not look like such a tit. Had he not had the individuals there who, as polite as they were, he wouldn't have come across as well. And let's be honest, Trump didn't go that hard on him. Trump showed clips of things that were happening in the country and said, answer these. And he couldn't. He couldn't answer them. In fact, what he said is, we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it. So coming on to then the real cringe of the moment. And that is the EFF's response to the question that Donald Trump had, which is, why has this man not been arrested for the Kill the Boer chant? According to Donald Trump, if this has happened in his country, Malema would have been arrested by now. He says it's an incitement to violence. You can't have people inciting violence in your country. And he's correct. In a normal functioning democracy, Julius Malema would not be allowed to do what they do. But remember, he's not inciting violence. He's singing a historical struggle song for a struggle that he was in diapers when it was being fought. But anyway, that's an inconvenient fact. But according to Julius Malema, he says that what this shows is that actually he's a really big revolutionary leader and he's on a different scale. And the reason he's on this different scale, a completely different scale, is because he's the main focus of a discussion in Washington. And to that, I'd say, dude, you must be having another one of those brain aneurysms that it's been alleged you're having from the coke that allegedly you're smoking, or I don't know what's going on there, because this is not a good look. These guys are not having conversations with you about how great you are. They're having conversations about what a not such a great guy you are. I would not be taking this in a positive way whatsoever. But according to him, it was just a bunch of older men who were gossiping about him. and his party will not be persuaded around the land question and returning the land to the people, because that's what supposedly he's doing. The guy is just, there's delusions of grandeur here. He now thinks he's somehow equivalent to Che Guevara or something. The guy's like, the delusion is strong with this one. And he says that he himself shook the corridors of imperialism. No, dude, these guys literally pitch you on the international stage and talked about what a tool you are. But according to Julius, what actually happened here is that Ramaphosa went and sacrificed South Africa's democracy during the US visit. And to that, I'd say, dude, again, you're retarded. Cyril didn't go there to kiss his ass. Cyril went there to save jobs. In fact, the actual leader of the trade union told you very clearly what their worry was. 600 companies in South Africa, over 500,000 jobs. Remember that? She told you. That's what's on the line. That's what they didn't want to lose. Not sanctifying your bullshit that you want to tell people to somehow make you feel better about yourself. This is just stupid. The MK party, not to be outdone in the stupid realm, said that the entire meeting was an attempt to maintain the status quo. You know, the white guy on top. Like, these guys, again, stupid. But at the end of the day, what can I say? Political elites on the left in South Africa are just retarded. In any case, hopefully something positive comes out of it. I mean, if you listen to the EFF and the MK party, both parties not in power, well, the entire meeting was just a dominance of white voices telling a country why it should remain repressed by colonizers. Like, I'm so bored of this. I'm so bored of listening to these political parties talk absolute twaddle. It's just bizarre. It's dumb. And I got to be honest and say the media's response to this has just been nothing short of just disgusting. The issues raised were legitimate. Trump was actually very, very well coordinated on this. They're like, no, he's fake news. He just took it off Twitter. News gets circulated on Twitter. Your own news, Propaganda 24, gets circulated on Twitter. Does that mean you're fake news? Well, in my instance, I'd say yes, you are. But to actually just dismiss everything that went on, to not highlight how this could be positive. Sometimes, as they say, the best disinfectant is sunlight. Sometimes just to shine a light on the crime in South Africa, the horrendous nature of it, the lack of jobs, the lack of investment. Sometimes that's enough to kickstart things. But not with this media, because they're just going to kiss ass and bootlick and lie. And lie. It's horrendous. Who the hell believes these people? If you believe these people, you're stupid. Just stupid. Anyway, that's my views. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Until Monday, bye.